Daron, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
My name is Daron. I'm from Thailand, and I come from a family business in real estate. And I've been running my own business called Koze. It's a comfort-centric furniture business, right? That designed to make your space and time more comfortable and enjoyable. It's like an ultra premium beanbag, which is soft like clouds. There's no beans inside. At the moment, I have scaled down to restart because of the setbacks we got from COVID, and as well as the problem with Facebook advertising algorithm. We are currently in the process of re-strategizing on how to move forward.
How did you start Koze 5 years ago? What was the motivation behind that?
Well, I had a lot of fire inside me, and I just completed my master's in entrepreneurship, and I want to do something. There was this brand called Lovesac in America, and it's been around for a really long time. The first time I went to America was in 2004, and I really liked the product. You could just jump on it and you sink in. And I thought, wow, I wish Thailand had this. And Thailand didn't have it. Asia didn't have it. That was in 2004. So 2014, I went to study in America, and I decided to bring one back.
Wow.
And I had that feeling inside me, like, look, this is an opportunity. This is a start. You just did entrepreneurship. And how hard can it be? It's just foam and bags.
Yeah.
Really hard. So I decided to let's just jump in and start. This could be a great opportunity. I'm the only one. I think everyone will like it. And that was the drive that started my business, and kind of like a trend back in 2014. So I went for it. And that's how I started. And this is where I am today. Actually, the first year, we were very successful. We were making $1 million a month.
Oh, wow.
For a few months. And then something happened to Facebook and it dropped. And we were like, I learned that success doesn't always last. And you got to always constantly figure out how to adapt to changes. It's hard because I want to be financially ready.
Are you married now?
No, I'm not married, but yeah, I do.
Progressing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of friends married and having kids now.
Yeah.
It's just...
Okay, so you got to tell me early. I'm assuming you will invite me, and so I can come. But you're now what, 33?
Oh, I wish.
What is it, Daron?
37 this year.
Oh my God. Seriously?
Yeah, I'm 37.
Okay, you better get moving.
I don't want to rely on
your parents.
Yeah, I really want Koze to work, support myself and everything, and have a future. But wow, what a journey. It has been a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that the business I do impacts my personal life, impacts everything. Everything links to each other. If I mess up my business, it will mess up my personal life as well. And if I don't balance everything out, and it just gets worse, I had to deal with her sometimes. I had to deal with mom sometimes, and I had to deal with my business sometimes, and that includes my partner, my customer, my staff. Wow, it's just, it's all at once.
That's right.
So
yeah, so you got to juggle many balls, deal with many stakeholders, and they all want your time.
Yeah, especially my time. As a startup, I walked into many new realms, new experience firsthand. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I learned a lot along the way. Yeah, it's been a lot of ups and downs. Some wins, losers. Wow. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let me quickly ask you then this question, right? I feel that having an entrepreneurial mindset is an essential skill set to have in today's world. And I define the entrepreneurial mindset as one where a person is being resourceful, is able to manage the risk, or deal with uncertainty, as well as to be able to create value for themselves. What do you think about that? Do you think that you have that entrepreneurial mindset?
I like to add some stuff in, actually. Like I just mentioned, you got to be prepared for the conflicts that's going to come. That goes beyond your business, such as your personal life will impact you physically, emotionally, and financially. It will impact you if you did not prepare yourself. Because sometimes we read books, we listen to podcasts and everything, and those motivational speakers like, go for it, you need to start and everything. And they did not mention about the personal life side of things. And that also can bring down your business, slow down your business. I heard some stories where many entrepreneurs actually broke up with their partner because they really focus on the journey. And sometimes your partner can be giving you opinion from an outsider point of view and just saying, like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But then at the same time, there's two ways to look at it. One, the good side is pull you out and give yourself a bird's eye view, give you a break and really look at yourself. I look at my mistakes as just part of the journey. But some other people will be like, why are you making these mistakes? But it's like looking back sometimes, I have to make these mistakes. Otherwise, I'll never know. I'll never be complete if I don't make these mistakes and really have a big self-reflection on myself. So that's a lot that I had to take in at the beginning. It's the personal side of things. Another one is the finance. A lot of people go all in with their business, life savings, boom, all in. But looking back, I really wish I thought differently about how to create passive income, how to have an income that's not from your business, that will support you along the way. Because it's like stocks, like crypto, you don't know when it's gonna when it's up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna hit you many times, and you got to be prepared for it. Like if your sales are really bad, COVID, for instance, and you really need to have finance backup to support yourself while pursuing your dream, running your startup. Because some people will take 5, take 6, take 10, take more than 10 years to win. You never know which kind of path lies ahead of you. It could be short, it could be long. You don't know. So it's best to actually have some financial backup to support yourself along the way. I struggled a lot because I went all in as well. And when financially I was short, things starts to get hard. Wow, it impacted my personal life. It impacted everything from a dream where I have lots of energy, a lot of struggles. But yeah, this is a really big lesson for me. What a journey it has been.
You called out a couple of interesting points here, and I want to talk about it. Number one, you've highlighted that as an entrepreneur, to start and run your own business, you started to see was conflict, especially the demand on your time from different people, from the closest people nearest to you, like girlfriend, your family, and as well as customers and employees and other stakeholders. The second part, you talked about how to ensure to be prepared financially with backup, because we can't say COVID happened or run out of cash, right? So you want to plan for that ahead. Daron, what you've actually called out to is that journey as an entrepreneur can be lonely, because you've got all these stresses to deal with. And sometimes you might not be able to talk to other people, even your business partners. And that most people think it's all cool and exciting to be an entrepreneur. They forget that there are those moments when you have to deal with the pressure of how do you pay salaries, or you've got to tell no to your girlfriend who wants to go out, or you've got to do something else. And it's not like you want to say the no's. You actually want to say yes, but you've got to make that trade-off.
Yeah. Definitely. There's a few things you point out there. Lonely, you're definitely right. I start to understand why people say hire fast and fire fast and everything. And it can look cruel and heartless. But I can start to see that those are very experienced employers to be able to say such thing, because they realize that not all employees are loyal. If your boat is sinking, they will be the first one to jump off, save themselves.
Yeah.
But you will sink with the boat. And you realize no matter how much relationship you build with them, if they see that you're losing, they'll jump off, they'll escape, and then they'll leave you to sink alone. And that's very lonely as a boss. Or if they don't perform, you got to be ready to let them go, fire them.
Yeah.
And it's not easy being a boss. It's definitely very, very lonely. Over time, you get used to it. You start building that mindset. And then that's what I've learned. Sometimes stress takes over me. Okay. And all I can think is about how my business is going to survive tomorrow. How am I going to get sales in? Because sales is so inconsistent, right? When I start out doing Facebook marketing, we don't know what's working, what isn't. So we end up, okay, let's make content. Take photos, come up with new products, add more colors, keep going and try it out, And it can be very exhausting, And when things work, you're happy. And when things don't work, you're stressed out and you don't know why it's not working, And when it's not working, you're stressed. And sometimes I may go on a date night with my girlfriend. I may spend time with her, but my mind is not with her. It's with work, all the time. It's stressed because it's just you're afraid all the time. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to reach your main goal, and that really ruined my relationship and my health. I stopped exercising and everything because the business needed my time and staff needed me, and I couldn't really manage it, at the end. I can't say no all the time. I mean, there are times where, we went on a vacation and I did tell myself, like, you know what, let tomorrow be tomorrow. If it's going to fail tomorrow, let it fail tomorrow. But today and on this weekend with my girlfriend, I am not going to think about work at all. Such a nice relief. I live break for 2 days at the beach. I don't think about work. I don't think at all. Like, as soon as I come back, boom, shit. All over again. And, we end up having a fight so many times. I watch a movie with her at night. I fall asleep. I'm so tired. I fall asleep. I can't even finish the movie. And she's like, it's not our time. I'm like, sorry. So you may say it's a no. A no also brings more problem at the end of the day.
That's true. How long have you been an entrepreneur, running your own business?
since 2017.
Oh, okay. So that's 5 years. So you've highlighted to us some of the challenging.
Real entrepreneurial moment.
That's right.
I think there's not enough pain giving in podcasts and everything. I really think there should be more pain go through, not success, pain. So people before they're like, hyping themselves up for real challenge and dreaming about success, but also know that the struggle is going to be difficult. The struggle is so difficult that you actually wish you are an employee. Employee is so comfortable sometimes. Looking back, it's just like you can't think. You don't have the solution. Go to your boss. Hi, help me. And your boss might sometimes give you some guidance.
That's right.
But then, as an entrepreneur, you do not have anyone to turn to. And yes, I might come to you, Ramesh, and other people, but still, I'm the boss. I'm the business. I'm the decision maker. I am the risk taker. So the problem is on me. Employees, you still get your salary. Entrepreneurs, you don't get anything. You don't eat.
Is that how you envisaged being an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I think more about the success than the struggles. I did not know the real struggle behind it. I come from a family business. I assume that family is going to help. That's in my calculation. I thought they're going to be very supportive. Well, my mom did, my dad did, my grandma did. I was expecting other people as well. So when I did the business plan, I expect them to jump on board, but no, they didn't. And that was a real setback. It was a real struggle when I had to work with what I have, with the lower budget and everything. And if I knew that they're not going to support, I would have thought twice, thrice about doing entrepreneurship. And that also made me stress. So that added to the stress of my business. So I had my girlfriend, I had the family, and I had the business all at once. So that's another stressful point I had.
Yes.
Which I didn't see it coming. When I did entrepreneurship course at Babson in Boston, they were like, a startup is all about working in an environment with extreme uncertainty. And that was really an extreme uncertainty condition.
Yeah. And I guess hearing about it in a classroom about extreme uncertainty or even risk is quite different from experiencing it for yourself.
Yeah, it's very big. It's not.
And that's what you're pointing to here.
It's just nothing in class, nothing from books can
prepare you for that.
Prepare me for this. I don't know what's going to happen. This is really what happened. This is how tough it was.
Right. I want to circle back to this whole conversation about being a member of a family business. And I think you're the second generation. We do a lot of work with family businesses. And one of the interesting things about family business is that they develop close family ties because they live together, they share meals, they have multiple interactions. When you talked about the fact that you had hoped your family to be invested in your business, or you had expected them to validate your idea, right? So that could be one of the disadvantage of a family business, to have alignment or at least agreement between all the key members of the family, even though it might be something that the second generation are doing, because money was just a proxy for their approval or for their endorsement of your idea or your journey.
That's something I ask myself a lot about. How does this thing work? How does family business work? What's going through their mind? Do they love me or they don't love me? Like, am I not good enough, or you don't like my ideas, or what? And I went through a lot of confusion and I come to a few conclusions. They started out their business, and they're successful today. They start from scratch as well, So they're also learning to this day. They're learning, and so they're not perfect with what they come up with. Although they say family office, when I looked at it, it's not really complete. There's a lot of work to be done, and it's not the kind of family office that actually create passive income for every family member. An ideal, strong family office is that the investment should be good enough to create passive income for any family member to start their life and family. They did provide education, so that's a good thing. But they should be able to have strong investment that brings financial stream for everyone. It doesn't work that way. So they're learning, they're on a journey. But I come to a conclusion that if I have my own kids, I will not tell them that I am going to give them my inheritance, even though I will. So they can kind of like go on survival mode, not expecting anything from their family. Really learn to build their own wealth. Pick a path that they can survive, When I was young, my mom put into my head that, look, you're going to be running this family business. Come back after uni and you work with the family business and climb up and be in high rank someday. I'm almost 37. I'm still nowhere in the organization because they didn't plan it. And that's the thing. I have expectation when I was young that I'm going to be there. Everyone did. And when we get to a certain age, it's just, wait a minute. This is not what I've been told. This is not what I expected. I'm not moving anywhere. What's going on? And when I look at other family business, my friends, wow, they're taking the steering wheel, So the expectation I have as a kid didn't really come out. And I think they should, it might be my mom that taught me this way, but kids shouldn't have expectations of their family. Because otherwise, they're not trying to build their own stuff so that they can survive. So I think if I was taught differently and say, look, you're not going to come to family business, you're not going to have any of this. After uni, you're on your own. They can be lying. I think it's good if they lie. And then slowly I build up my own thing. I think it might be better that way because I would have laid out stronger foundation for myself rather than preparing to take over a family business. Because to a certain extent, there's a lot of comfort zone there. Like you're just waiting to be spoon-fed rather than go out and hunt yourself. That's a problem with everyone in my family. We were expecting them to just pass it on to us and groom us and get ready, I only learned the real stuff during Koze, and I learned the hard life. And I thought, wow, if I had this when I was 20, by 30, I would be somewhere else, more comfortable, I guess. Looking back, like I said, they started from scratch. They're learning themselves. So they don't know what to do with our generation. They don't know. They have an idea, but they don't really know how they should lay it out. And I don't think they were too busy trying to build Gason and everything. But they didn't really have time to really go through what's going to happen. What's the scenario? What if they have all the money and take us to the best schools? But we didn't do well in school. What's going to happen? What if it didn't turn out the way they wanted to be? What if something happened? They didn't prepare. We didn't turn out the way they want. They didn't turn out the way we want.
You're pointing to a very key issue that family businesses have, and that's around succession planning. And the reality is, Daron, as you have discovered for yourself, the entrepreneurs are busy in building their business, making it stable, successful, and looking at its growth and expansion. Sometimes they may not really do the planning that's needed for the family itself in terms of what next. And that's why the succession of the family members into the family business sometimes is not a smooth road. I I really got what with your children. You don't want to create that expectation for them that they're going to be successes, because you rather have them focus on discovering their strengths and knowing their weakness so that they can survive on their own. And then when they come into the family business, they have that confidence of what they can do and cope with whatever stresses. We are actually in the midst of this whole succession for many family businesses. In China, you see really a lot of the succession happening. Thailand actually started doing that maybe 2 decades ago. In Vietnam, it's still very new. And it's a journey.
Yeah.
And it's not a right or wrong answer.
I have a friend who used to work in a family business. It's an Indian family that owns like a factory. Yeah, they manufacture feeding bottles for Disney. When it comes to the children's generation, he took a different path. He did finance and worked in an investment bank, and he started to manage his family investment portfolio. And after a few years of managing, he discovered that family office space in Singapore, right? That manages multi families, and basically what he does now is that he uses family assets and money to invest in multiple businesses, different investments around the world. So it can be from companies to funds to stocks to everything. Okay, many asset classes. And I find that, wow, that's really clever, because in this day and age, you do not really need to have a family business. If you have enough funds, enough assets and everything, you can shift from one investment to another. You don't have to stick with one. You can be in healthcare today, and then
diversify.
Diversify, or you can sell it off, and then you jump into tech. Then you jump into agriculture. You can jump into anything. Why not diversify your risk using this sort of family office? You can even ask your offspring, kids, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to do healthcare? Okay, here, manage healthcare. Do you want to do tech? Here, you manage tech. You want to do agriculture? Here, manage agriculture. Learn. I don't know if it's entrepreneurship. You can just jump. You don't have to stick with one. You can go into multiple ventures. You can invest. You can just be an investor, or you can work with them, build it up, sell it, be like a serial entrepreneur, sell it, start something new, go and do it all over again. Wow, that's so clever. I didn't even bring this family office space in Singapore to my family. I'm like, why don't we do this? Why don't we work on something where within the family, we can all have different interests, but we can still work towards one goal and be very flexible and learn about different asset classes, different investments, and different businesses.
Well, it's interesting because, Daron, you're pointing to another struggle of family businesses, because when they found a business which eventually becomes a family business, they focus on the survival of the business entity first and always. But what we forget is that there are two other pieces in a family business. And the other piece is called the family unit, where all the individual family members constitute themselves as a family unit. So if there were 4 siblings and the 4 siblings had, let's say, 10 children together, and then you add up maybe the patriarch or the matriarch as well, right? The last piece is the individual members and the aspirations and the needs of the individual members. In our consulting, we actually use a systems approach, and we say that it's not enough to have just a successful family business entity. Actually, what is more important is to have a family vision. So we are currently working with a Vietnamese family where they created a 30-year vision, and they had their conflicts, but they were able to resolve the conflicts, because when they created that 30-year vision, it provided the runway for everyone to come on board. Now the individual members could see, oh, I could also have a pathway to success. And they could see that the family unit was important. And more importantly, they could see that their individual needs were being met. It's a systems approach. The family businesses who are fine are the ones who actually spend more time in creating the family's vision first, and then go to work with the business's strategy. But you need both because one feeds the other, right? But it's also important that family members ultimately can feel connected to the family.
Let's dive into the world of finance and understand, why we invest, right? Okay. And investments ultimately comes down to what you want in life. It comes down to, okay, you need to work out how much funding you need to live, like to eat every day, to go out, all the necessity, okay? How much fun you need per year. You multiply how many years you're going to live for the rest of your life. If you're going to have kids, how much will it cost to have kids, to then take them to school? How many vacations you're going to take throughout the whole year? The disposable income you like to have per year, right? You need to figure out all that. And then when you work out all of that, you start to look at, okay, which financial instruments which investment, which asset class you're going to use. And then you start to go deeper into the risk, and you manage all that. Once you come up with this model, you start to think about, okay, where are you going to find the finance to invest and how long it's going to take, whatever. So you would come up with all that. That's what I've learned. Okay. So the real question is to ask yourself, like, what do you want in life? When I introduced that to my mom, my grandma, my uncles, what do you want in life? And you know what I've discovered? They all want totally different things. And they're wow, it's just, I learned a lot about it. The thing they want is very interesting. When I grow old, my grandchildren running around, we're having a good time, smile on the beach, taking a vacation like with the whole big family, your kids, the spouses of your kids, and their kids. That's happiness. When I see my grandma last year, when we went on vacation during COVID lockdown, and a family member running around, she must be really happy to see how far she has come. I think that's real happiness. I think that's everyone should have that. 2 words in every investment before you start the ultimate goal is health and happiness. Every investment should bring health and happiness. If it doesn't, it's not going to work. You can't have happiness without health. You can't have health without happiness. For instance, you have health, but you're unhappy. Is that good? No. You're happy, but you're dying. Is that good? No. So whatever the investments, whatever the family business does, it's not about legacy. Some people think it's that value that. It's about legacy. It's about face value. But it comes down to 2 things, health and happiness. I bring that to my uncle. And it's funny. His happiness is different, but his happiness is not about sitting with grandkids running around. That's not the kind of vision you have if you want to do a family office.
Well, I want to interrupt you here, right? Because I think that's how it looks when everyone has a different vision and hasn't had the opportunity to put all that on the table and to come up with an aligned statement of what could be the vision for the family. So, Daron, like you've observed when you interviewed your grandma and your mother and your uncles, we now have to bring all this together in one statement that will include everybody. And when you go out there into 30 years and to look at what the world will look like and the scenarios with AI and modern technology, we can't assume that today's world is going to be the same then. We'll make a few different conclusions. And at that point, it'll be easy to align. I'm happy that you've started on that journey. And I want to assure you that everyone can come together, but has to have a long enough runway. I'll talk to you after this interview, but for sure, that's possible. And maybe I talk to our Vietnamese family who went on this journey and how they resolved it for themselves, because it is possible.
I think as a family, like you said, there has to be an alignment. There has to be a common
shared vision.
shared vision, right? And a shared vision that benefits everyone. And I think that what created conflict, because they were not clear. When they're not clear with themselves, they're not clear to us. And this creates disappointment when they're not clear. I mean, if the meaning family office is to provide to all family members, to make everyone comfortable. I mean, let us know that you're going to provide up to just education and that's it. So we know, so we prepare. When we were kids, we know that something's coming up. We got comfortable. I can't blame them. I have to blame myself too, right? But here I am, because everything that has happened, learning today instead of learning many years ago, right? It's very important. As a family, you need to clear expectations, and that's what they didn't do, right? I mean, whatever I try to propose about family office here, I don't know if it's going to come to life. But now that I don't have any expectation today, I know what to do. I'm finally working on my own path without anything from them. I stop expecting, and it's make me happier at the end of the day, and it makes my goal, my objective clearer. It's better late than never, but I do wish I've seen this way earlier in life, not when I'm almost 40. Yeah, so the keyword is clearing expectation. Let's clear expectation. I will tell you my definition. You tell your definition, okay, and see where we stand. See if there's anything that we can work together. I think that's bottom line.
That's really great. I mean, even that word family, right? It means so many different things to different people. So getting clear about that for everyone, and getting clear about what is that shared vision, and getting clear from that shared vision what should be the expectation for everyone would actually reduce a lot of the conflicts that we see in family businesses. So thank you for this conversation. And I want to move to a new topic about crisis. I define crisis as a setback that we sometimes experience. In a crisis, there's also a turning point, whereby it's a choice between life and death. If we are able to deal with it effectively, we go on to learn from it and to create something new. So when you look at the crisis that you've had with the business or in your personal life, what qualities had you be successful in dealing with the crisis?
It's like the saying with the workout, no pain, no gain. I realized something, a big lesson. The closer you are to losing something very important to you, the closer you are to death, more enlightened you are. I start to realize the definition of maturity when I was really in pain starting out my business. Realizing I have no support and everything, running out of money. And I start to see maturity, like children in Syria brought up in crisis, and children in America brought up in a wealthy family. By the age of 5, kids in Syria will be well more mature than kids in America, because they have to survive. Crisis resilience. The closer you are to failure, death, and everything, the more survival instinct you build. That's why I say, when you raise your kids, you should never tell them that you're going to give them your family business. Never tell them they're going to take over. Tell them, no, you're not going to take any of it. So that they go through all the crises, all the problems, and build up their survival instinct. Kids should be taught survival instinct. It might make them a bit more mature and less happier, but everyone needs it. Right. That survival instinct. And that's what I've really learned.
So when you talk about survival instinct, resilience, but how did you go about reframe for yourself that pain now is gain later?
I like to use this. Light your ass on fire. It's when urgency happens. You got to think quick, think on your feet. Otherwise, you're going to lose everything to survive. You come up with something and make it work. And that's life. And that's how you grow. Pain, when you light your ass on fire and you gain, you really gain because, wow, I never knew I can do this. Oh, and you start to realize, when you're a kid, you can never imagine, like, how did that adult become so successful? How did he get so far in life? And then you realize when you light your own ass on fire, like, oh, that's basically what he did. Some people have luck, of course, but some people really went down into like the lowest part of their life before they can bounce up. And I think everyone in life to be successful, if not luck, and luck could be the lower hanging fruit. The longer they're trying to be successful, the more they're going to experience that down point in life. Sooner or later, it will hit them, and it will be a bigger problem later. And I think everyone needs to go through that low point in life to be enlightened and build that strength.
So you're pointing to a very important point that in a crisis, you get to develop your survival instinct, and it gives you the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to learn new things early in life. Because if you had bad luck later on and you were too old to learn or to pivot or to adapt, you'll be caught and then you're really stuck.
You have to fall. The more you fall, the more you're going to realize, okay, this is how not to fall, right? You learn from it.
What is spirituality and where are you in your spiritual journey?
I am a Buddhist, but I'm not a hardcore Buddhist. But I do like their ethics and their teachings.
How do you practice it? Do you go for annual meditation?
Meditation, but I really like the idea of focusing on your breathing, restarting your mind, and not holding on to things. When you don't hold grudges, don't hold on to things. Leave it. You're selfless. The idea of being selfless. You don't need money. You don't need anything. You can go live in a cave and your life work. You just meditate because you become part of the nature. You're neutral all the time. I think that's what's really beautiful about Buddhism. And the more you can be towards that in life, the happier you'll be, the simpler life will be, and in a world with social media and Instagram, it's really corrupting people here. You got to have that. You got to look this good. You got to have likes. People have to accept you. And you got to be here. You got to have that. You got to have this car, this clothing. It's all pointless at the end of the day. It's just people trying to be accepted, be loved. But Buddhism is just, you just need yourself.
So what is that one thing that you would like to do more of in this spiritual journey?
Meditation.
Do you meditate daily?
No, not at all. But it's something. It's just like exercising. It's just something I want to get to it. Because focusing on your breathing for 5 minutes is just really difficult because your thoughts comes in all the time. But you can master that. You can master anything. Really. You're just really resilient.
Yeah, I can get that. And I guess that's what stress does to us. And when we have such busy lives that we can drop these very basic practices that can actually bring us a lot of value.
Yeah, especially in crisis. You don't panic.
Mm.
You're stabilized.
Okay, great. Do you think it's possible to live a simple life in today's world? And what is a simple life for you?
Like I said, do I live in a cave and like the movie Castaway? Like how far is simple? You have to define that.
But what is it for you? Is it any car which goes from point A to B, any kind of watch, right? It doesn't have to be a branded watch just because everyone else is doing it. Is it about eating healthy, unprocessed food? Is it about being a better human being?
Simple life for me is a place to live. Doesn't have to be big. You have something to eat every day. Health and happiness. You just need those two, and you can be anywhere as long as there's health and happiness. And you just need these two things.
Wonderful.
As long as you're happy, you can have a very simple life, and you're healthy. That's all you need, right?
Would that also be the key things that you need to thrive? Health and happiness?
Yeah. Like I said, finance, when you work on your financial goals, money should be enough to supply these 2 points.
So you will add having sufficient financial backup as part of thriving with health and happiness.
Yeah, it's like fuel, right?
Right. Yes, that's right. Daron, thank you very much for your generosity in sharing the behind the scene pain and struggle and loneliness of being an entrepreneur. That's really valuable.
The dark side of
entrepreneurship.
Thank you. I'm glad to be part of this. I really just poured everything out of my head here. It's just like boom.